1400 stone and concrete block masonry. Description. This work shall consist of construction of structures with stone or concrete blocks jointed together by cement mortar in accordance with the details shown on the drawing, and these specifications are as approved by the engineer. Materials. All materials to be used in stone and concrete block masonry shall conform to section 1000 of these specifications except cement mortar, which shall conform to clause 1304 of these specifications. Personnel. Only trained personnel shall be employed for construction and supervision. Type of masonry. The type of masonry used for structure shall be random rubble, coast or uncoast, or coast rubble first sorts, or concrete block. For bridge work, generally coast rubble masonry shall be used. The actual type of masonry used for different parts of a structure shall be specified on the drawings. For facing work, ashlar masonry shall be used where indicated on the drawings. Construction. Stone masonry. General. The dressing of a stone shall be as specified for individual type masonry work, and it shall also conform to the general requirements of IS 1597 and requirements for dressing of stone covered in IS 1129. Other specific requirements are covered separately with separate to particular type of rubble stone work. Laying. The masonry work shall be laid to lines, levels, curves, and shape as shown on the drawing. The height in each course shall be kept same, and every stone shall be fine toppled on all beds, joints, and faces, full and true. The exposed faces shall be gouged out, grooved, regulated, and strung, or plain molded, as the case may be. The face of the stone between the drafts shall be left rough, as the stone comes from the quarry, except where sacrificial layer is to be provided or plastering is restored to the aggressive environment. Stone shall be sufficiently wetted before laying to prevent absorption of water from mortar. Stratified stone shall be stratified stone shall be laid on their natural beds. All beds joints shall be normal to the direction of pressure coming on them. Stones in the hearting shall be laid on their broadest face so as to give better facility to fill the spaces between them. The courses of the masonry shall ordinarily be predetermined. They shall generally be of the same height. When there is to be variation in the height of course, the larger courses are to be placed at lower levels. Heights of course dressing gradually towards the top of the wall. The height of course shall not be less than 160 mm. Placing loose mortar on the course and pouring water on it to fit the gaps in stones is not acceptable. Mortar shall be mixed thoroughly and poured in the joint in fluid state. No dry or hollow space shall be left anywhere in the masonry, and each stone shall have all the embedded faces completely covered with mortar. In tapered walls, the beds of the stone and the planes of course should be at right angles to the batter. In case of bridge piers with batter on the both sides, the course shall be horizontal. The bed which is to receive the stone shall be cleared, wetted, and covered with a layer of fresh mortar. All stones shall be laid fully in mortar, both in beds and vertical joints, and settled carefully in a place with a wooden mallet immediately on placement, and solidify embedded in mortar before it has set. Clean chips and spalls shall be weighed into the mortar joints and bed wherever necessary to avoid thick bed or joints or of mortar. When the foundation and bed wherever necessary to avoid thick beds or joints of mortar. When the foundation masonry is laid directly on rock, the face stone of the first course shall be dressed to fit into rock sunk, sunk, sungly when pressed down in the mortar bedding over the rock. No dry or hollow space shall be left anywhere in the masonry, and each stone shall have all the embedded faces completely covered with mortar. For masonry works over rock, a leveling course of 150 mm thick M15 concrete shall be laid over rock, and then stone masonry work shall be laid without foundation concrete block. Face work and hearting shall be brought up evenly, but the top of each course shall not be leveled by the use of flat chips. For sharp corners, especially in skew bridges, through stones shall be used in order to avoid spelling of corners. In case any stone already set in mortar is disturbed or the joints broken, it shall be taken out without disturbing the adjoining stones and joints. Mortar shall be thoroughly cleaned from the joints and the stone reset in the fresh mortar. When freshly laid, no attempt shall be made to slide one stone on top of another. Shaping and dressing shall be done before the stone is laid in the work. No dressing or hammering which will loosen the masonry will be allowed after the stone is placed in position. All necessary cases for joggles, towels, and clamps should be found beforehand. Sufficient transverse bonds shall be provided by the use of bond stone extending from front to the back of the wall, and in case of thick wall from outside to the interior and vice versa. In the latter case, bond stone shall overlap each other in their arrangement. In a case headers are not available, precast headers of M15 concrete shall be used. Cast in situ headers are not permitted. Stone shall break joints on the face of at least half the height of the course, and the bond shall be carefully maintained thoroughly in band work at all angles. Junction of walls, the stone at each alternate course shall be carried into each of the respective walls so as to unite the work thoroughly. Building up these faces tied with occasional through stones and filling up the middle with small broken stones or even dry packing is not acceptable. All quains and the angles of the opening shall be made from selected stone, carefully squared and bedded and arranged to bond alternately long and short in both directions. All vertical joints shall be truly vertical. Vertical joints shall be staggered as far as possible. Distance between the vertical joints of upper layer and lower layer shall not be less than half of height of the course. Only rectangular shaped bond stones or headers shall be used. Bond stone shall overlap each other by 150 mm or more. All connected masonry in a structure shall be carried up nearly at one uniform level throughout, but when breaks are unavoidable, the masonry shall be racked in sufficient long steps to facilitate jointing of old and new works. The stepping of racking shall not be more than 45 degrees with the horizontal. Random rubble masonry uncoached and coached. Dressing. The stone shall be hammered and dressed in the on the face, the sides and beds to enable it to come in proximity with the neighboring stone. The bushing on the exposed face shall not be more than 40 mm. Insertion of chips and spalls of stones may be used wherever necessary to avoid thick mortar beds or joints, and it shall be ensured that no hollow space are left anywhere in the masonry. The chips shall not be used below hurting stones to bring these up to the level of the faces. Stones use of chips shall be restricted to filling of inter- interstices between the adjacent stone in hurting, and they shall not exceed 20% of the quality of stone masonry. Hurting stone. The hurting or interior filling of the wall faces shall consist of rubble stone not less than 150 mm long in any direction, carefully laid, hammered, done with a wooden mallet into position and solidify bedded in mortar. The hutting should be laid nearly level with facing and backing. Bond stones. Though bond stones shall be provided in masonry up to 600 thick, and in case of masonry above 600 thickness, a set of two or more bond stones overlap each other at least by 150 shall be provided in a line from face to back. In case of highly absorbent type of stones, porous limestone and sandstone etc., the bond stone shall extend only about two-thirds into the wall as through as the stone in such a cases may give rise to penetration or dampness, and therefore for all thickness of such masonry a set of two or more bond stones overlapping each other by at least 150 shall be provided. One bond stone or a set of bond stones shall be provided for every zero point 0.5 square meter of the masonry surface. Quon stone is specially selected and neatly dressed for forming an external angle in masonry work. It shall not be less than 0.03 mq in volume. Plumb stone. The plumb stone are selected long stones embedded vertical in the interior of the masonry to form a bond between successive courses and shall be provided at about 900 intervals. Laying. The masonry shall be laid with or without courses as specified. The quinons shall be laid header and stretchers alternately. Every stone shall be fitted to the adjacent stone so as to form neat and close joints. Face stones shall extended and bond well in the back. These shall be arranged to break joints as much as possible and to avoid long vertical lines or joints. The face joint shall not be more than 20 thick, but shall be sufficiently thick to prevent stone to stone contact, and shall be completely filled with mortar. Coast rubble masonry first sort. Dressing face stone shall be hammered dressed of all beds and joints so as to give them rectangular shape. These shall be square or on all joints and beds. The bed joints shall be chiseled draft for at least 80 back from the face and for at least 40 for the side joints. No portion of the dressed surface shall show a depth of gap more than 6 from the straight edge placed on it. The remaining unexposed portion of the stone shall not project beyond the surface of bed and side joints. The requirements regarding brushing shall be the same as for random rubble masonry. Hearting stones. The hurting or interior filling of the wall face shall consist of flat bedded stone carefully laid on prepared beds in mortar. The use of chips shall be restricted to the filling of interstices between the adjacent stones in hurting, and these shall not exceed 10% of the quality of masonry. While using chips, it shall be ensured that no hollow space are left anywhere in the masonry bond stones. The requirements regarding though or bond stone shall be the same as for random rubble masonry, but these shall be provided at 1.5 to 1.8 meter apart, clear to every course. Quoin stone. The quoin shall be of the same height as the course in which they occur and shall be formed or headed stones not less than 450 in length. They shall be laid lengthwise alternately along each face, square in their beds, which shall be fairly dressed to a depth of at least 100 Face stone. Face stone shall tail into the work for not less than their height, and at least one third of the stone shall tail into the work for a length not less than twice their height. These shall be laid as headers and stretcher alternately, laying. The stones shall be laid on horizontal courses, and all vertical joints should be truly vertical. The quoin stones should be laid header and stretcher alternately, and shall be laid square on their beds, which shall be rough chisel dressed to a depth of at least 100 Joints. The face joint shall not be more than 10 thick, but shall be sufficiently thick to prevent stone to stone contact, and shall be completely filled with mortar. Aslar masonry. Plain aslar. Dressing. Every stone shall be cut to the required size and shape. Chisel dressing on all beds and joints so as to be free from all brushing. Dressing surface shall not show a depth of gap of more than 3 from straight edge placed on it. The exposed faces and joints 6 from the face shall be fine told so that a straight edge can be laid along the face of the stone in contact with every point. All visible angles and edges shall be true and square and free from chipping. The corner stones shall be dressed square, and corners shall be straight and vertical. Bond stones. Though bond stones shall be provided for masonry up to 600 thickness, and the masonry above 600 thickness, a set of 2 or more bond stones overlapping each other at least by 150 mm shall be provided in a line from face to back. In case of highly absorbent types of stones, porous limestone and sandstone, etc., the bond stone shall extend only about two-thirds into the wall, as though stone in such a cases may give rise to penetration of dampness. For masonry with such a stones, a set of two or more bond stones overlapping each other by at least 150 mm shall be provided. One bond stone or a set of bond stones shall be 1.5 to 1.8 meter apart, clear in every course. Laying. The face stone shall be laid header and stretcher alternately, the header being arranged to come as nearly as possible in the middle of stretcher. Above and below stones shall be laid in regular courses not less than 300 mm in height and is all courses of the same height. Unless otherwise specified, no stone shall be less in width. No stone shall be less in width than its height, or less in length than twice its height, unless otherwise specified. Joints. All joints shall be full of mortar. These shall not be less than 3 mm thick. Face joints shall be uniform throughout, and a uniform recess of 20 mm depth from face shall be left with the help of a stone plate during the process of work. Concrete block masonry. Laying. The bed which is to receive the block shall be cleared, wetted and covered with a layer of fresh mortar. The mortar's work shall be laid to lines, levels, curves and shapes as shown on the drawing. In battered section, the beds of blocks and the plane of course shall be horizontal. Face blocks for such a section shall be manufactured especially for the purpose. The block shall be soaked in water for at least 15 minutes before laying to prevent absorption of water from mortar. Concrete block masonry shall be constructed generally like fine-tooled ashlar masonry. Each block must be fitted into its place dry in order that discrepancy of figure may be discovered and corrected before it is finally laid in mortar and settled in bed. The block shall be laid full in the mortar, the bed and the side joints being not more than 15 mm in thickness. Each block shall be stuck with a wooden mallet when laid in place in mortar to bring it to solid bearing as to bed and joints. All visible edges shall be free from chippings. The course shall be horizontal and side joints vertical throughout unless otherwise indicated in plans. Joints shall be stuck. For bond face block shall be laid header and stretcher alternately, unless otherwise ordered by the engineer. The header being arranged to come as nearly as possible in the middle of stretchers below. The blocks in the course above and below shall break into for about half the height of the course, and bonds shall be carefully maintained throughout section. While carrying out masonry work, templates prepared to the correct shape and approved by the engineer shall be used to ensure correct batter as well as correct shape of masonry, especially cut and is water in pairs. The finished work shall be checked at every stage by the component authority to ensure that it has the correct shape and batter as required by the design. In case of skew, bridges, and for cut and ease water, the acute angle at the corner shall not be less than 45 degree. In case a smaller angle cannot be avoided, then a flat face of 100 mm shall be provided. Pointing. Pointing shall be carried out using mortar not less than 1:3 by volume of cement and sand, or as shown on the drawing. The mortar shall be filled and pressed into the racked out joints before giving the required finish. The pointing shall conform to clause 1.3 of these specifications. The work shall conform to IS 2212. The thickness of joints shall not be less than 3 mm for aslar masonry. However, the maximum thickness of joints in different works shall be as follows: random rubble 20 mm thick, coarse rubble 15 mm thick, aslar masonry 5 mm. Curing shall conform to clause 1309 and 1312.5 of these specifications. Scaffolding. For scaffolding, clause 1310 of these specifications shall apply. Weep holes. Weep holes shall conform to clause 2706 of these specification. Joints with existing structure. For jointing with existing structure, the specification as given for brick masonry work, clause 1308 of this specification shall apply for stone masonry also. Coping for wing return parapet walls. Coping for wing return parapet walls shall conform to clause 1313 of these specifications. Tests and standards for acceptance. All work shall be done to the lines and levels as indicated on the drawing or as directed by the engineer, subject to tolerance as specified in the specifications. Mortar cubes shall be taken in accordance with IS 2250 for testing of compressive strength, consistency, and water resistivity. The frequency of testing shall be one sample for every 2 cubic meter of mortar, subject to a minimum 3 samples for a day's work. Measurement for payments. Stone masonry shall be measured in cubic meter. In arches, the length of arch shall be measured as the average of the length along the struts and introits. The work of pointing shall be measured in square meters. Architectural coping shall be measured in linear meters. Rate. The contract unit rate for stone masonry shall include the cost of all labors, materials, tools and plants, scaffolding, sampling and testing, supervision and other expensive incidental to the satisfactory completion of the work as described in the specifications. The contract unit rate for pointing shall include erecting and removal of scaffolding, all labor, material and equipment incidental to completing the pointing, racking out joints, cleaning, wetting, filling with mortar, trolling, pointing and water sampling and testing and supervision as described in the specifications. The contract unit rate for copying shall include the cost of all labor, materials, tools and plant, sampling and testing and supervision as described in the specifications.